Welcome to the Generation Fit podcast. I'm Coach Chris, my co-host, Coach Paul. Together, we have helped hundreds of corporate desk worker men over 30 get into the best shape of their lives, going from skinny fat to lean built. Today, we talked about why getting lean or sub 20% body fat is the number one priority from the get-go. And we also talked about modern culture and the way movies are going right now. Enjoy. So this podcast, I really want to talk about why getting lean is so important. Why objectively getting to sub 20% body fat is step one, but then to complete it by getting to 12 to 15%. And this is where I think a lot of the men that we work with, generally skinny fat, but also a little bit heavier as well, really struggle with getting to, because it does require precision. And the difference between the two, right, 20 and 15%. So 20% body fat, you most likely just have a flatter stomach, right? Still got pudge, still can fill it up. 18's like, if you exercise, have like a resting 2-pack. And then the closer you get towards 15%, you probably have a resting 2 to 4-pack. And then once you get to 12%, you have a resting 4 and possibly a 6. That's kind of how we judge these numbers. But it's also a good reason for it, because I twofold. Aesthetically, that's where you want to get to, right? If you're skinny fat, it's like you're just holding most of your stomach in your stomach, most of your fat in your stomach. And then most guys just hold their fat in their stomach in general. So cutting weight is the most important part, because then you can build right afterwards. You know, I mean, how many times has guys come to you, Paul, and been like, dude, I just hold all my weight around my stomach?
I think damn near every single client I've worked with that was a man, you know, it's a blessing and a curse that, like, unfortunately all our fat is held in our gut. Like, even myself, you know, if I've hit a bulk, that's usually like my arms will stay shredded all year round. Like it takes maybe 5-pound cut and my arms look pretty shredded. Like, but my gut will say like, oh, you had that extra cookie during your bulk, didn't you, big guy? You know? Like,
It's ruthless. Yeah. Well, what I'm trying to get at is, most guys think that they just have to lose, like, they're like, oh, I just have to lose like 10, 15 pounds. And then when I look at their status and I see them and I'm like, oh, you know, you have no resting packs. It's coming over your belt line a little bit. Things are fitting weird. It's like you got at least 20 pounds of fat on the scale to lose. At least, and that's like bare minimum. If you have 1 inch, every inch around your waist is about 5 to 8 pounds of fat. If you have a singular inch over that belt line, you bet your ass you got more than 20 pounds to lose. And that's just around your stomach. So that is a big wake-up call. And I think that most guys completely underestimate how much they need to lose. Hence why I go back to the fact we need to get lean right away. So first part of this is, most guys think that they have to, you know, all guys want to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Like, that is the goal. That is obviously the dream for everybody. And I agree. But here's the thing. I truly believe that going more on aggressive of a cut initially is more important. Here's why. If you just lose fat and build muscle equally at the same time, the results that you're looking for is not going to come to about a year, right? Yes, you could be regressing the entire time. Yes, your exercise is getting stronger. Your waistline is like slowly moving down, but that psychological feedback loop is too slow. So it's not that scientifically that you cannot lose fat and build muscle at the same time. I am just preaching that in the first 6 months, which is what we do in our program, that we really want to go for at least 1 pound of fat loss on the scale, which means you're probably like putting on, like, you know, I'm giving you some rounded numbers, like 0.2 pounds of muscle per week that you're gaining, especially for more like beginners and beginner intermediates. So that is my take on why getting lean is the most important part first. Yeah, like I mean, when you have skinnier like skinny fat guys or like guys who just hold it around their waist, right? It's like if you get them, how many times have you gotten like guys strong? And I feel like every good personal trainer has gotten like their clients very strong, and they still have their gut, and they're still mad that they're like benching, like doing all the good SBD numbers, squat, bench, deadlifts, everything that's going great. Their shirts up top look great, and they still are pissed off at the gut, right? And even though they're getting everything done, right? Like the protein's done, they're just overeating in calories still. But
Yeah,
how many times have the clients been happier when, like, let's say they didn't like go up and they didn't like do some outrageous numbers on their squat, bench, deadlifts, overhead press, but their stomach is flat and they can see a little bit of their abs
they'll
every time.
be yeah, like I had um so I'll give you both clients because you know them. They were at Hoboken. So Kevin, the bearded dude that was literally shredded when he came to me already, but wanted to put on size. So I was like, motherfucker, we're eating. And like, we put on massive size to this kid. But then when we decided to cut, it just made his natural, I don't want to say natural, because like, he worked hard for that physique, up until the point that we worked together. But he looked double the size he used to while staying as lean, if not slightly leaner, because of what we did, like in our bulk. He was happy with the numbers. He wanted to get bigger, wanted to get stronger, and then on and put on the size. So he was super happy with any, throwing 3 plates on the bar or whatever. Like every plate that we added to the bar, he was super happy with. Where my other client, Dave, big gamer, not fat, but skinny fat. Like you could definitely tell doesn't really work out more than like 3 times a week. Um, but like kind of like that average male body type. He would be ecstatic over the body weight benchmarks that we hit. Like, man, I lost 5 pounds. This is great. Dude, my shirt's fitting better. My gut's fitting better. Like, my gut's flatter. You know, I look better naked. I look better in my bedroom ceiling mirror when I'm boinking my wife. I need to get me one of those when I have my own house. But but when he would talk to me about the numbers, because he like obviously through our training he was hitting brand new numbers, PRs. He was just like, "Oh yeah," and like I hit 220 on the bench today, or like was more like, "Oh, this is cool," but like, dude, I lost 10 pounds. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah, that's
he was also just a very nonchalant guy in general.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
he probably would have won the fucking lottery and just been like, "Oh yeah, dude, by the way, I fucking won $5 million." Like, "Oh, wait, what are you doing here?" Just fucking get out of here.
I wouldn't be surprised, dude. But that's a very true representation, right? I think being in the niche, like being in our niche, it's like people could do come to the gym for the results of looking good, but also we do have a bias because most of the guys that do come in, they also want to get strong. Now, I'm not saying the guys that come in don't want to, that we have currently, but I would say is it's definitely more of two things. Psychological, like physical is like the surface layer, right? Like obviously you want to lose 20 plus pounds, lose the gut, right? And actually be lean, and I say built, but guys would say defined. But it's also the two deeper layers. So the first one being psychological, it's like there's usually something that's blocking you from doing it, right? Whether it's like the all or nothing cycles, whether it's the binging cycles, emotional eating, right? And you're trying to understand why you're fixing that. And three is just the amount of effort that you're putting in, right? It's like how you're doing so much effort. Most guys come in, they're doing something, and they're so pissed off they're not getting the results they want. And it's like, how much time am I wasting doing this? And so it's like this combated effort. And so when you do have like guys that you mentioned, it's like two different spectrums. It's like one guy didn't really care so much about like the body fat percentage, how he looked. Yeah, he looked better, but he was worried about strength. It's like that's definitely the more minute. And then most guys are just like, look, I just want to look good naked. I want when I put on a shirt, I want it to fit flat around here, broader shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't care about if I squat 315 pounds or if I bench 225 for reps. Right? They're just like, if this is the consequence, cool. But I mean, to be fair, it's like if you bench 220, it's like what are those markers again? It's like I've seen I forgot which one Dr. Helms just brought up. It was like every natural physique competitor can squat over 405 pounds depth to depth without a problem. So he's like, there are some good strength numbers to be told on a build. And he's like bench. It's like I think he says like once you cross like 275, it really doesn't matter. Like in terms of like the size, like you probably can get the same size after, like more size afterwards, doing other things at that point because
Yeah.
you're at that point. It's like how much shoulder, how much chest, like how much chest are you actually hitting from the bench press at that point, right? It's like most guys have it just really, really good shoulders and triceps too to help with, and they're like, why not just do like a shoulder press or like why don't you do like dips, for like those body parts? But I digress. All I'm trying to get at is we care so much more about physically about how we look in terms of weight on the scale and also the gut around our waist and how much broader our shoulders are. And so we don't really care too much as much with the strength numbers, even though they are definitely correlative, right? We obviously make those. That's like actually a number decision by how much muscle you put on over time. We actually take percentages, but it's consequential. It's like the consequence, like, oh, I can also pull 315 pounds off the floor. It's like, yes, it is pretty damn cool too. But then they'll come back to us and be like, dude, I got laid because the girl like thought I was hot. Or like, hey, my wife thinks I'm hot again. So she slept with me. Like that's probably like the deeper rooter reasons why guys actually do this. but but that's what I'm saying. So okay.
My wife finally thought I was hot again.
It's probably something again. You'd be surprised, man. I think it's over like 60% of marriages are sexless. So it's bad. It's real bad out there. Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, even I look at it and I'm just like, are y'all just settling? Cause
Yes. Yes, that's exact. Well, no, hold on. Let me break this down. On average, if that is true, every normal guy would want to have sex as much as he could, on average, right? Like just as long as it didn't deter him from like his hobbies or his daily whatever he actually wanted to do or work, right? That would mean marriages would be like 100% sex all the time.
that's my kind of marriage, you know what I'm saying?
As it should be. But on the other end, right, since women dictate it, this is, I think, 100%. I mean, this is going back to the podcast earlier, is women are having their fun, right? They got liberated and they can sleep around their 20s, then they want to settle down their 30s. And then when they get into their 30s, they're like, okay. And then they get the guy that's stable and not fun and not as attractive and then whatever. And voila. Then they're like, oh, I'm with this guy, and like I used to pull this Chad that's at the pool at Lifetime right now, and I used to get freaking banged, banged in the sauna while I was watching, some crazy shit, and I now have this dweeb, that's a super good man, super good family, perfect on paper, and then she has no attraction to him. But that's like the essential red pill of all this. So I mean, I do have. What's funny is I don't know if you saw the video I had. One of the new clients came in. He like listed everything that he's like, dude, I got to do this because of like XYZ ABC. And one of them was like, I got married, and I don't think my wife like actually likes to sleep with me anymore. And I was like, that was the most honest answer I've ever seen heard in my life. But
The fact that he admitted that, good on him, man.
but he's saying the thing that nobody else is saying. But it is very true. I mean, I know I said it. I mean, we made the reel together, but I remember saying that. I think that's what pulled him over because he was like, "Yeah, it's true," and I'm over here like, "Well, it's funny because like I obviously embody the opposite side, right? It's more of like I literally have built this physique, and now I could just maintain it. I don't. I'm just saying like I already built this. This is like my investment portfolio for my body, so it's like I don't have to do as much for it now, right? It's the same concept. And whereas these guys, it's like they're coming in and they're like, I've already built everything else, so much so, right? That
Then I
They
sacrifice my body.
they sacrifice the body and their health, right? Whether I do have some guys right now. It's like they're like super good level engineers, lawyers, whatever, and they're all still like not having the sex life that they want, or like they can't play with their kids, or like they're too tired to play with their kids. Like, but I had an entrepreneur guy, my last testimonial, couldn't even play with his kids. So when people were like, okay, well, why get to 20% first? Because that's what all those health markers come in right there. If you don't optimize
100%.
for just general health, like we're talking like
Yeah.
blood sugar, cholesterol, like that is generally dictated by your body fat percentage. So that's why getting lean is more important as step one. And then step two is aesthetically, that's what comes in next in terms of you going to the beach, being able to take off your shirt, you being able to, if you're single, attract the woman that you want, being confident in your own body in any situation. That's really what it is. It's not like you should rip off your shirt in the middle of a bar and be like, hey, bitches, and then like get all the oil on your body and start moving it around. What show was that? Always Sunny. The guy got like shredded, and there was like,
And he's like, guys, look at my abs.
yeah, like nobody. The whole point is that like nobody cares. It's what brings upon that, and then eventually when you are in those situations where like you're at the beach, you're at the pool, you're at a cabana party. I don't know what do people do these days. It's like you could wear those shirts and make everything pop out, and you just hold that. You're not like over there flaunting it, right? You just are that guy. That's what I'm trying to get
Yeah.
at. Like that's where the 15% comes in, and we can track that pretty easily as well, just by looking at you. If you're like, hey, you have a resting 4 6 pack, and so that's why I highly believe that you have to diet down first, and you are also building muscle. Look, I think people conflate this. I think this is where like everybody gets this all wrong. It's like people are like, oh, I have to cut, I have to bulk, but it's like in reality, it's more of if most people aren't even training consistently and well enough, you're going to build muscle and lose fat at the same time in a deficit. It's going to happen just because you're not trained enough, right? Guys like us, it's like you did way bigger argument for like you probably need a true bulk and cut cycle. And if you maintain, if you do that like maintaining stuff, it's just that you're just prolonging that cycle, that range. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if I were trying to increase my bench every single for a cycle and I maintained, I could do it. Let's say I go from 275 to 315 after 12 weeks, something like that. But that's way too much. If I did like 295 to 315 for one rep max, which is not, it's not true. But if I were to actually do in a bulk, I probably could get that to like 335 because I'm heavier and I also have less range of motion, like all this kind of stuff. So what I'm trying to get at is psychologically, you want to lose fat. So you get here healthy first, here and also your health markers, because sure, you can get strong as fuck. I want you to get strong as fuck, but not at the cost of you prolonging what you could have lost the gut. Most guys that we work with can lose it in like 6 months. But then like imagine like he had to wait a year to finally lose it. It's like most people would give up after 6 months. I think such a buy-in. You see what I'm saying? Like that's such a buy. 6 months already, people are already freaking out. People are like, oh my God, that's like a lot longer than I thought. But then you think it's yourself. It's like you've been alive 35, 40 plus years. And you're telling me I can undo everything I've learned my entire childhood, how I lived, college, and now, and I can undo everything in 6 months. Very short time. But when you're going through that training and that learning process, it's like daunting if people are like, oh, I'm not gonna lose this 25, 30 probably pounds around my waist until a year. They're gonna look at you all like, what the hell? That's not happening.
Yeah. No, fucking, I used to tell people all the time, I'm like, it took you X amount of years to put on this weight. Like, I'm not saying I can flip a switch and like you're gonna lose all that weight again. It's gonna take us some time, but like
You'd be a billionaire.
working together, we're gonna implement things in your life now and change things that you've learned over those years to a new way of thinking to expedite that time frame. Where it's like with me, couple months. Without me, X amount of years. you know?
Yeah, and you're still guessing. Yeah.
And you're still guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Which then could possibly lead to injury or a different health issue because you take something away that you shouldn't have or put something in that you shouldn't have and your body ain't happy with it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's really the thing is you're expediting time. And I think I'll speak to like the last part of this. I think speaking to this twofold. If you are truly skinny fat, right? Like you never really worked out and you generally just have a skinnier build and just have a little bit of gut around your waist, you're going to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. We're just going to do it at a faster pace. Meaning, like, for example, if you were to maintain weight throughout the entire process, you technically lose, like, let's just say losing 0.1 pounds of fat while gaining 0.1 pounds of muscle per week. Something like that, right? But I purposefully make sure that you're losing at least 1 pound on the scale. So you're probably losing 1.1 pounds of fat every single week, et cetera, et cetera. Until you can actually lose that 20 pounds off. And what I'm trying to get at is your strength training is the reason why you're building muscle. Because if you're in a deficit, like that's the entire point. It's you're in a deficit while you're strength training and eating enough protein. Those are the three biggest things to actually fulfill that. So if you were, let's say, eating the right amount of calories and that protein, but you didn't strength train, you'd still lose muscle and fat, just a little bit less muscle because you have enough protein, like you're eating enough protein to at least try to protect it. Okay. So that's step one. But in that first 6 months, you're basically doing that all the way across the board, all the way down, right? Until you can get to a point where you have a flat stomach. And then by then you have completely transformed your life. Okay. And then basically the next year, which is what most of my clients do, then they spend that time focusing, which is learning how to do this for the rest, like in the sense of learning how to do it for the rest of your life, which if you think about it, you're going to be putting on, like, maintaining and putting on mass for 9 months out of the year, every single year. And that's fun. That's how life should be, right? You built the habits, lost the weight. Now you can build and maintain for 9 months. And then all you have to do, like, let's just say that's actually the real numbers. So every single year every month you can put on 2 to 3 pounds per month to be within the scientific range, right? Of a healthy, lean bulk. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything less, you're probably getting 50% of the gains or less. And then if you go over that, you get 100% of the gains, but a lot more fat spillover. 2 or 3 seems to be like the perfect split point. You do that for 9 months. That's anywhere between what? 9 months is what? 18. So like on the low end, I'd say 8 months. 8 months on the low end, just 16 pounds, 16 to 20 something pounds. You can lose that in 8 weeks at the fastest. It could take you like 12 weeks, but the whole point is that like you probably gain mostly muscle. You probably gain at least 5-6 pounds of muscle. So it only take you like 12 weeks at most, 3 months to die down every single year. And that's exactly what I do. When I'm trying to say that is this is basically the investment back on your body. This is the way. So like you first get that base physique, that base leanness. So then you can forever keep building, chopping down a little bit, building most of the year, chopping down a little bit. Right. And then eventually you can get to the point where you like spend more time. Like sometimes you may maintain a little bit longer. But the whole point is that you built the systems, you built the habits. And then when you need to diet down, you just lock in for 8 to 12 weeks and you're done. That's it. Forever. Like people, I think that's what people don't understand is like you put on this much weight, you need to get back down to here. So that becomes that new baseline. So anytime you avert away from it, you come back down healthily. So you break that all or nothing cycle. And I think that's what most people freak out about. It's like they lose, they gain the weight, they got the desk job, they got the corporate job. Then they like got so stressed out because of the boss, the work, whatever. And then they forget where that baseline was. And now they know how to get it back. Bang. And now they have to fit their life around it. And so that's my high belief on getting lean first. So what would you say most guys are at though? Like when you like most of your clients, most of the guys that worked corporate that we had, what body percentage would you think they would be at? What range would you give them? Because they weren't like obese,
I would say a majority of my clients were anywhere from 18 to 25% body fat on average.
Yes, I think that is like the driven corporate man that I think that we've worked with so far, right? 18, 25%. So like if you were to get down to 15, that's almost 10% body fat. And that means if you're sub 200, that means you have over 20 pounds to lose. Like you have right about 20 pounds. And then if you're over 200 pounds, then that means you have a little bit more than 20 pounds, if not 30. Simple, right? Like it's that simple. So you have 10% body fat to lose. So That's our biggest take. And I think the last one before we go, what I really do mean like health wise too, it's like being under 20% body fat, it's like your testosterone will also be usually back to its normal levels because of its lifestyle. But like body fat is in and of itself is one of the is probably the biggest reason for most of your health problems or the way that you feel, especially with feeling like crap, whether it be by eating, entering a food coma, mental clarity, brain fog, like all of it. So once you get down to there, that's when you start feeling better. And then once you get down to 15%, that is when you look significantly better. And that's what you want to. And I think 15%, I mean, to be fair, it's like if you look at the average guy, like not average guy, sorry. I think every major celebrity that was not like super shredded, like for example, Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. But I think if you look at like Mark Wahlberg in his photo shoot, he's like 12 to 15%. You know what I mean? He's not super shredded. Think about it this
Oh,
way.
he's never been super shredded. He's always been one the attractive. Like even when he was younger, he wasn't like super shredded. He only used to at most have like a 4 pack.
Yeah, he had his underwear, like he had his like a Calvin Klein shoot. But the whole point is that like under 10% is where the veins start popping, right? Like on the waistline. And so what I'm trying to get at is 15% is where you generally see mostly got like most of your favorite celebrities at rest when they're in shape is what I'm trying to get at. Like not in the movie,
Yeah,
right? In the movie, it's like when you see like for example Brad Pitt and Troy come out, it's like yeah, he's 10% body fat in that moment with lighting, perfect oiling. The scene is the scene itself.
yeah.
Brad and him in Fight Club, he's probably like
Him in
six
Fight
percent.
Club.
He's probably six
Yeah,
percent body fat.
I was gonna say like anywhere from 3 to 6.
Yeah, but when you see him like walking around in his interviews and his yeah, sure, he's not on the craziest workout regimen, right? But he's lean. He's just naturally lean. That's all it
Yeah,
is. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like you just want that look, that lean, built, defined look, so you can look a certain way, you feel good about yourself, and then everything else comes with it.
yeah, dude. What you like? I remember vividly as a kid. I would either put like a little juice or whatever and just put it in the freezer for a little bit, like not even half an hour, and it's like this perfect like just frozen enough that like if you crunch it a little bit, it creates like little ice shards in it, and it's
Mhm.
like a homemade slushy.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. The I just like. I mean, to be fair, I think I liked everything with the actual stuff inside of it because at least made me mentally think at least it was somewhat more natural, even if it wasn't, right? Even if they just put it back in there. But I've always liked the texture. I mean, it's the same thing with crunchy peanut butter. I like that crunch. I like the peanuts inside the peanut butter. To be
Same.
fair, I'll eat it. Like the thing is, I'll drink orange juice with no pulp. I will eat peanut butter with no crunch. But I would much prefer it if it had the crunch.
I 100% agree.
Like what? Like that's kind of like the point there. Uh, but when it comes to like the banana and how people open it, yeah, it's the weirdest thing because people like monkeys and mammals will open it from the butt, and then what they do is they pinch it, right? They grab the tip, pinch it, and it automatically opens it up properly every single time. And that's why I did it because I was so pissed off because sometimes I would pull a stem and just try to pull it like this and it wouldn't come off. And the next thing you know, I have a banana that's half mush because I'm over here like trying to rip it off like this. And the next thing you know, it's like the top of it's gone already.
The fact that I can just see you getting mad at a banana.
Oh, I don't even like I don't even like
Gross.
the taste of bananas that much. I just eat it because it was potassium based. I actually did it. That was talking about pure fuel. Bananas was it. Like
I
that
could
is
see you
something.
just putting salt on a banana, being like, I don't have enough sodium. I need both sodium and potassium. Salted bananas.
That's yeah. Well, what's funny is I think when we lived together, we didn't. I didn't buy a single. I don't think I've ever bought a banana. It was always oranges, kiwis, apples. That was kind of like the only three we kind of cycled through. Maybe one off things, but like that was probably the main three I remember indefinitely. Maybe you got bananas, but I just don't remember
Dude,
me myself.
the amount of people that look at me weird for eating the entire kiwi, Dude, they look like I'm just fucking stabbed their best friend in the face.
What do you mean? Wait. Golden kiwi or green kiwi?
Both.
All right, green's a little crazy. It has like the hair sticking out of it, so it just looks
Yeah.
weird. I mean I eat it too. I'm just saying like I can see why they look at you weird because they just see like a
I call them
tentacle going in your
tarantula
mouth.
booties.
Yeah, you can see the legs and the hairs going into your mouth before you eat it. That's why that's why they're like
They're
golden.
like,
Okay,
don't you feel that? And I'm like, yeah, I just ignore it.
that's like eating octopus. It's like you feel all the
The
little
suction cups.
suckies.
Oh,
Yeah.
aren't they like usually still semi alive when
I don't think so. At
when
certain
they feed
time,
it to you?
no, only for they only stay alive for a certain amount of time. But I'm sure they can still suck. Like it could still like suction because it's just physics more so than not.
Dude, that would suck if it's suction like literally in the middle of your throat.
No, I don't think it does that. That would be
Oh,
nuts.
it's like the cough that can never go away.
I would hate that. I would get a fish hook and get it out of there. I would just get something and shove it down just to get it out because I could not deal with that whatsoever. The
So,
uh
have you seen this bullshit about the new Odyssey movie?
I'm hearing so many different things from so many different perspectives. I'm like, I don't even know what to think of it because I know the casting is all over the place. And then they say like the DEI actors die out pretty early. So then I'm like, okay. And then people are like, the plot's still pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, because it's made from a book. So it's, or made from you know, whatever it is, an epic. And so I already know what it is about in the story. So it's just his take on it, Nolan's take on it. But what have you heard about it?
Well, Nolan's fucking it up.
Uh-huh.
All right, listen, I give no like it's this whole thing with Hollywood and the woke Hollywood is fucking up so many movies. There are so many movies that would have been great if they didn't pull their woke Hollywood bullshit and it tanked the movie into the box office. It was horrible.
Happens all the time.
And dude, Little Mermaid,
Cinderella,
instant classic. Cinderella, instant classic. Like,
Moana.
to be fair, to be fair, the amount of remakes of Cinderella that they have, by all means, and one of the better ones is the one that they threw that Brandy chick from 2000 in there, where it was just an all black cast for Cinderella.
Hmm.
Like, you know, or that might have been Oz. What, regardless, they have both. They have both versions, anyways. Little Mermaid, fucking little ginger girl, ginger mermaid girl, and you made her black, and the actress could not swim.
Sounds perfect to me.
You try for a role of an aquatic fantasy creature, and you cannot swim.
It's
What the
fantasy,
fuck?
I don't know.
How however, once I heard how they explained why she's black, like she's her mother or whatever is from the Caribbean Sea, and that's why they're all different. Uh, Basically, they turned it that they're all from the different seas and they look like the people around those seas. Okay, I can get behind that. Makes sense. But when you don't put that into the trailer, what the fuck? But
It
with the
just
Odyssey, dude, Elliot Page, who
yeah.
is Ellen Page or whatever the fuck her name was, I really don't care if you're trans or fluid or whatever the fuck. As long as it's not hurting people or being put on kids, I don't really give a fuck. But you are supposed to be Achilles. You're supposed to be the guy, the
Yeah.
motherfucking manliest man that fucked everybody up.
Yeah. A
And
brute, massive
you can barely
man.
run it. Yeah. Luscious locks,
Yeah.
fucking, unkillable. And in all of your clips from your scenes in the movie, you're struggling to run in the armor. You look like a child that put on their father's clothes.
Yeah, see. Yeah. Well that's with every DEI casting these days, or I call it DIE. But even so, all these characters that they've switched around ever since. I mean, this is what we were talking about with the other podcast, right? Which is like probably like around the 2012 era was the last of the comedy, and comedy is usually like the telltale sign of where everything is going. And once
Yeah.
comedy was dead, like what was the last? I mean, like this way, 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street were back to back years, and that was like 2012 and 24. 2012 and 2014. 2015 was like maybe like it was like the Grown Ups 2, maybe 3. It was like maybe one of the Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg and Will
The
Ferrell.
other guys or whatever it was called.
Yeah, like a
Oh, Daddy's Home.
Daddy's Home, right?
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that, but like that got less and less edgy. And then by
Mhm.
2017, it was gone. So we kind of knew that was kind of happening. And ever since then, I mean, Disney's been so DIE, whatever. The I mean, it's so interesting to think about because I remember back in like the early 2000s when we had anime live action and they would still choose a white guy over a Japanese guy for an anime. And
Yeah.
that was fine then. We can put a white guy in front of for a Japanese guy for Goku or Vegeta, but next thing you know,
You
we can't have a Hincho Asian
don't
guy.
don't bring up that fucking horrible, horrible DBZ adaptation.
Yeah, that was the worst one I've
That
ever seen.
uh I enjoy the actor that
He's a
they
good actor,
made
yeah.
to I enjoy him. He's in like this one suspense movie where like he's not dead, but like at that point where like he's in between realms and basically he has to get this girl to get everybody to get to his body where they found it or where they put it because she helped some dude hide it. Um,
I don't think I've seen this, but he's a very famous actor, Justin Chatwin. And then also yeah, he's very famous. He's in so Dragon Ball Evolution, War of the Worlds, The Invisible. He was on
that's the movie, The
the
Invisible.
The Invisible. Yeah, he's in like a lot of like random stuff, but that was
And then he was banging Fiona from Shameless.
there you go. Yeah. That's who he also played. That was very famous. Yeah. So
But that's another great show.
Shameless went on forever. I remember watching it like through season like 7. I think whenever like I got caught up, right out of college, and then after like 2018, I think I stopped. I think it went for like 4 years or something, like 5 more years.
Dude, there's like 18, 20 seasons. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like any show that long takes forever. Like I feel like at a certain
Even
point,
Supernatural.
another one of those shows. I mean, Smallville went for a very long time too. I don't think it was for example, I think it was like 4 or 5 seasons, something like that, and then it just went to like 20, 30 episodes, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
But back then, making it to 5 to 8 seasons, like unheard of. Like you had to be such a huge hit to make it up to 5 seasons.
yeah, I'm trying to think of all the shows back. The thing is, a lot of shows I probably like growing up I wouldn't have watched, but then you like research and look back on it, and then you're like, oh yeah, that was a very famous show, and I just we were just too young to watch it in the 2000s.
Full House, fucking like all of those like nuclear quote unquote nuclear family shows back in the 90s and early 2000s were all fucking hits, especially through the 90s.
Oh
Huge
man,
hits.
yeah, that's one thing that they'll never get back is the all of that, the cartoons coming out every Saturday. You would look forward to it. Then all the teen shows that came up with it that like the parents could watch. It's not even the same anymore. I think there's just an abundance of it being done. Like, you can just go on YouTube and just get it anytime, and some random creator can make a show like that. Technically, not a full production, but they can make a good enough show. So I think there's just so much, and the fact that we do have a lot of competition though. So it's not like the competition isn't there. I just wonder, right? Because like the whole point is like they want to make a profit or they want to make money. So if they were to make a show, like I know they have a Full House, again, like redone or whatever, but to make a new one of anything and make it pop off, like I don't even think it's not that it's not possible. It's just like how would you build it out? I feel like we're so torn. I feel like we're so torn in half right now. I feel like one side wants, for example, wants to see the Odyssey thrive because it has a black actress playing Helen of Troy who is blonde, blue-eyed,
So that yeah, mother.
right? So you have one side that's like all for this and probably, I think opening weekend got $267 million. So people still wanted to see it regardless. And then you have the other side like us who's like, yeah, we pay with our dollar. If I don't agree with something, I'm not going to go or buy it or whatever. And for me, that was Nike after Kaepernick. So I just stopped buying Nike. I burned every Nike thing I had. So I do not own a single thing of Nike to this day, purposefully. I have not bought. If I in my own house, I have yet to buy anything Anheuser Busch anymore, unless it's like for a one-off. So I don't have Bud Lights, I don't have Stellas anymore. I know they double backed. They double backed after they signed with the UFC, but I was like, yeah, Dana White absolutely dicked them for their like, you know what I mean, like for like a brand deal again. But Dana White got apps like let's just say got like 70% of the deal, like their way.
Damn.
Something ridiculous. I don't know the details. I'm just saying, like, when you hear about like these things, it's one
He's a
person got.
smart businessman, though.
Oh, of course. But that's what I'm saying. We vote with our dollar. So one side votes with their dollar, one side just cries and whines until they get their way, and then bleed into everything else. And now that's what we're seeing with the Odyssey. But people still want to pay for it, so it's gonna keep living on until we don't pay for it. Actually, I'm
Yeah.
curious. I am very curious. How much did the Odyssey make opening weekend? 264 million. All right, how much do you think it cost to make?
Mm, 1 billion.
No, okay, put in perspective. The biggest movies of all time didn't even surpass like 500 million.
Okay. I will say 350.
Right on point. Right on point.
Yeah.
So the most expensive movie ever that was made to this day is Jurassic World Dominion 2022. It cost 658.8 million
Damn.
before tax rebate, bringing it down to 531. Then it goes Star Wars The Force Awakens 2015 at 447 million. Avengers Endgame 400 million to make. And then Pirates of the Caribbean 2011 379 million. And then runner up is Avatar The Way of Water at 2022 for 350 million, but that one obviously made its money back cuz that was pretty good. I liked Avatar 2, the movie.
I liked all three of them.
Yeah, we have to watch the third one. So, yeah, to be fair, I don't think it's going to change until people are like I don't want to pay for it. But I think this is what's kind of the point though. If you really think about this, I think we are so divided equally. It is almost as if, like, for example, if you actually took every other person, it's like I guarantee you it's probably along the lines of 40-40-40-40-20, meaning 20% people would actually just don't care. They have no idea what's going on in the world. Like they just don't like. They're just like, do I like the movie? Do I not like the movie? Do I want to buy this? Do I not want to buy this? Nothing behind the scenes, right? Like just completely over the head. And then I think
Fair.
the other 40-40 is really split in half like that because I really think, I mean, for example, I'm sure, I mean, especially in your field, I guarantee you can see a bunch of people who are just so left wing and then and then also on the very far right wing, and they purposely go buy those certain things. They do those certain things, and they bleed and live in this camp, right? And the same thing that goes on the right side, where it's like, how is it? Is it crazy that I can tell which side somebody leans on 99% of the time just by the clothes that
How
they
they look.
wear, how they look, how they take care of themselves, what they eat. Isn't that absolutely absurd? Like,
Dude,
uh,
I've been having that thought literally the past few days because unfortunately I did download dating apps again to fucking occupy my time. I fucking hate it. Dude, I get so bored just by looking at their pictures, and I will swipe left on somebody. If you look like you'll give me a fucking headache just by opening your mouth on your opinions of shit, I'm not swiping right. I'm like, if I can tell by how you look beyond opinionated on the wrong things or about shit that, like, you know?
dude, it's so crazy, man. I'll send you the stat that I saw, and it was the male voters of the last election, the presidency. Their biggest, it goes by like the top three. Obviously, it had like all 10. The top three things for what men cared about the most, 18 plus, was marriage, economics, education. Guess what the top three
Yes.
things were for women?
Do they care about women's rights?
So it was
A cab.
equality of equity, which is just everything being equal. Abortion was number one. Whoever had abortion, it was 99 percentile. Like I mean, meaning it didn't matter which side had, like, one side could have been like, we're going to cure cancer, we're going to feed the world, but I don't. But and then be like, but we're not for abortion. They'd be like, nope, don't care. That
That's
that's how
fine.
that's how
We have
powerful
the
that
cure
was.
for cancer and we know how to solve world hunger, but you got to keep the baby.
And they would still not vote that way. Isn't that nuts? That's stats. That's just pure stats.
To be fair, personally, like personally, I don't give a fuck about either. Like, I fucking hate politics. I think politics is the dumbest fucking shit we have in this goddamn world. And yes, that is my full on male white privilege kicking in, and I do not give a fuck. However, bro, it gives me peace of mind. I don't got to worry about it. I don't worry about politics until it physically affects me. I get it. However, I do agree with the one side where, like, not for nothing, if I was a chick and some hot dog smelling grease monkey knocked me up because he graped me, like, I'm getting rid of that fucking thing.
Yeah,
Like,
that's two.
you
So
know,
okay, that's 2%. That's 2% of the population. So the whole point is, uh, right. So like the middle ground is just more of like, if you're more on the left side, it's more of like, right. If you're like a rational left, that would be technically for special situations. That would be one.
yeah. Like,
And
if
if
I'm gonna die given this baby, get it out of me. I don't want it.
Yeah, like special situations, that's like more like the middle left, right? Which I would say most of us would probably stand. And then the middle right, or the full right, is more of like no at all costs, right? That is against God's will. And
Mm.
so, which is the most strict interpretation of it. And so, and technically it's not wrong if you just follow that law, but like the whole point is that we follow somewhere around the way we live. But but like, what I want to point out is, it's insane to me that that dictated which way they voted. Not how the state of the economy, not how well they're doing. Well, the second part that they actually top two was their career advancement, personal career advancement. So they didn't care about economics. Yeah, so they didn't care about economics. They just care about their own personal careers. I'm just saying, this is how
But
people
then
were
they,
voting.
wonder why, like, dudes don't feel like men anymore is because, like, women are trying to catch up equally in that, in like all that, in terms of, like, there was this one podcast. It's actually funny. Like, more well-known artist was on the podcast, and she stormed off because the podcast owner like called her out on some shit, and she didn't like his answer. And like basically the argument was like uh women, non-traditional women asking for traditional men.
Okay, I kind of see what you're talking about now. Yeah,
And like her thing was like, you can have a girl who doesn't look traditional because obviously she has body mods, you know, fake boobs, plastic in the lips, tattoos everywhere, whole nine, which is normally not traditional. But like, she's like, you can have a non-traditional looking woman and them still want traditional values. But it's like, she's like, men haven't been stepping up, so we have to step up for them, or like all this, you know, all this like kind of shit. And I was like, you know, it's kind of it. There's different points, and like the one girl brought up like, oh, men have to go to war, and like the reason women got jobs is because y'all went off to war fighting, so we had to do your jobs. And I was, and like
bad take.
I'm watching this clip, and I'm like, that's your argument you want to go with? Did you want to go off to the war and figure and fight in fucking Vietnam, in
Bad
fucking
take.
Japan?
Terrible take. Yeah. Oh my god, that's horrible. Yeah, we were drafted. That's a vastly different story.
She's like, we had to do the iron working and all the and like all your jobs because you went off to shoot guns and fight in wars.
Dude, some guy. We went to the horse track the other day, and it was like a rodeo, and older gentleman, probably would be my grandfather's age at this point, so like 85,
Hmm.
90, was there, and I didn't know the guy. He sat next to me. He goes, "The education system's screwed. You have to get your kid to like a private school." And I was, or homeschooled, and I was like, I'm already way ahead of you, man. Like I was like, once my son is kind of integrated socially, I was like, I don't know if I'll have him in a once I'm at where I'm at financially, like I probably will have him homeschooled, or I will have him in a network where I don't have to deal with the homeschoolness. So I am already going that route because the public school system obviously failed me, and so I was like, I'm not going to do this again and have him go through it because I think right now the U.S. average when we went to high school, I think it was 80. I think it was like 80% could read at a high school level through graduation. I think now it's dropped to like 60
That's crazy.
in math, right? Like that's bad. That's really bad because everybody's cheating. Like you have all the tools now. You don't have to physically do the work anymore. Before we were cheating on like when I first got my phone in my junior senior year. It's like I could finally use my phone to actually get by with stuff if I needed to. Um, but I excelled at math, so I didn't need to. But the whole point is that these kids, if you're like in ninth grade, if you have these tools at your disposal, like, why wouldn't you use it? And then if you don't have good ethics, it's over. It's over. So now you have all these people who are not included. Doesn't matter what race you are. It's like everybody's cheating. Everybody's using the easy way out. You can use AI. I could do a picture right now and do all those, the like the math word puzzles that you had to figure out back in the day. It's like this guy had 7
Yeah.
apples, he took away 3, and like do all this and that, draw this diagram. ChatGPT can do it all now. All of it. You don't have to do it anymore, and it'll do all the work for you. It's so bad.
Bro,
So
we're turning into idiocracy so fast.
yeah, so the smarter the smarter that goes, the dumber we've gotten. But that's why I think a lot of these jobs, so a lot of jobs will be taken, but a lot of jobs will not be taken. And I think one of those, obviously, like tattooing will not be taken because that is very personable. Unless you just want to, like, unless some people do genuinely just want a specific tattoo and they don't care who does it, just a machine, right?
It's gonna be for the people that, at least not for like literally till we have flying cars.
That's what
You're
I'm saying.
not
It's
gonna
not
be
going to
able.
be, yeah.
You're. It's gonna be like a quick. It's probably gonna be something that can only be done on arms and legs, and it's almost like a stamp laser. Like that's the only thing I can think of. Uh, Almost like a brand at that point. Like,
It's a,
but
well, right now, a lot of machines can do surgery. So it's not that it's more of like, it's not that it can't. It's right now, there's probably no market for it. And I just think it's also a very personal thing. Like, it's like same thing as getting a haircut. It's like, yes, I want a good haircut, but I also generally most people actually go there and want to build a relationship, whether they speak to the person or not. They at least want to be going to the same guy, so they don't have to think
Yeah.
about it. So it's building a relationship, and so I think that's one of the biggest things. So these service-based businesses aren't going to go anywhere anytime soon. Only the worst of the worst will be kicked out because they just can't compete with the basics of a bad robot for now.
Yeah.
Until right for all of
No,
us.
you're 100% right. It's definitely like it's the same thing with. It's a little bit different in the fitness industry. Obviously, results speak just as loud as personality, if not more. Um, where like in tattooing, you could have 5 tattoo artists at the same level or relatively near the same level or have them on a spectrum and guarantee you out of 100 people, a lot of people aren't going to choose the best artist in the room that during the session he has his headphones on, doesn't want to talk to you. But it's the best artist out of those 5. You're going to get the best product, but he's not talking to you and he's basically just treating you as a transaction, which some people like that. I don't. I want to talk to my people.
Yeah. Well, it's both of us in our services. So what I'm trying to get at is like a lot of service based businesses. It's a lot of it is very personable. Even at the like, I have an investor client right now,
Hmm.
$10 million every year, right, in investments and profit for himself.
Damn.
Lives on Wall Street, bought
Can
the
he
apartment.
teach me?
I mean, he was the valedictorian at Harvard, so he's
Never mind.
even when I talk to him, I feel like an idiot. I'm 20 points. I'm definitely 20 points IQ underneath him. Like that's how dumb I feel talking. Sometimes I think to myself, like especially when I had the. I mean, maybe this is why I have these clients. I remember I had the Princeton professor. Also, I felt so dumb around, but maybe I just asked questions and they just love answering. But Jay chose to work with me because I have a family, right? Because I look a certain way, because I live a certain way. That's why he chose me. He could have bought. He could have bought. I mean, he could buy whatever trainer he wanted. He could put $40,000 price tag for another coach,
Yeah.
right? He could have done it, and he chose me instead. So it just goes to show you, like, it is going to still be people in these service based businesses unless the market shifts to the point where they just want perfectionism. And I just don't think like going to your barber, hairdresser, person who like a personal mechanic, the person that does that cleans your house. Like eventually these things, it's just like you actually want to be around people more. I think that's what's really happening. Like even look at McDonald's, half the shit's automated now. Like as we're going through this, all the machines now are taking the orders. Unless drive through is different right now, but you go to most of these places, you just hit buttons and then you get the order, and then somebody will serve it to you. But eventually, it'll be all robots.
Fucking,
I've watched Idiocracy again because I think I just think I have to like
we
relive
just
when I
watched
first.
it at the shop. It was fucking horrible.
Well,
They
why? Because
fucking
it's real.
bro.
The
No,
Gatorade for water is unbelievable.
that's what I'm saying. That's the part that fucking had me losing my shit. I was like, because I hadn't watched it for years, and I was like, that's really how dumb these motherfuckers were. Like, oh, also back to that other podcast before we get into this. She's also one of the type of like artists that's like all for uh what like basically her brand is half her reels just flaunting her body
I've seen some of
with
those. Not
with
her
maybe
specifically, but yeah.
maybe like a tattoo or two in the thing. And I'm like, which I'll give her this. She's been in it for over a decade now. Above average tattoos. Like I'm not gonna sit here and stroke her ego because she was an attractive girl. Um, dude, the lip filler to the point of like you looking like Daffy Duck. It sends me. I can't.
Yeah, I
But
can't either.
like,
Yeah.
but it's part of the industry. That's some people's brands. I'll have people constantly question me because I'm a guy. They're like, oh, you must be heavy handed. Oh, you can't do fine line. Oh, you can't. There's girls that won't come to me because I'm a guy. There's girls that will come to me solely because I'm a guy. Like, there's dudes with those same things. Like, it's everywhere. But yeah, no, Idiocracy, just the fucking
Yeah, I'll have to take a watch again
the
because
dildo machine or something. It was like a drill dildo fucking monster truck.
dude, I forgot. Dude, I forgot the I forgot the movie. That's why I was like, I just remember him just going through all of it and being the president because he's like the smartest guy in the world. After he woke up, like that's basically like the premise of it. I remember, and the Blue Gator was like the biggest remembering scene that I had. But I'll have to rewatch it. Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, follow us on my Instagram. Mine is Coach_Chris Lee.